Hi guys, this is the day 13 notes for geometry, and we're looking at the equation of a circle. Day 2, there's a couple of trickier questions, but we're not going to focus on those as much, but we'll still try one or two. All right, so first things first, the equation of the circle, this was from the notes from yesterday, is parentheses x minus h squared plus parentheses y minus k squared, and then equals r squared, where HK, that's the center point, and then R, that's the radius. So that's the key, and you should know that from yesterday. We're going to do one practice question dealing with that, and that's example number 1 right here in the notes. It says, write the equation of the circle, where this is the center, that's the radius. So remember, we plug in for H and K and R, and then we keep the X and Y. So it's going to look like x minus, in for h, we can put in the -5 squared, plus y minus, now let's plug in -1 for the k, square it, and then equals r squared. All right, just clean it up. This becomes x plus 5. That double negative switches to plus a positive. Y plus 1 squared, and then equals 49. All right, I'm sitting outside right now, so you might be hearing a little bit of wind kind of gusting through. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. All right, we're going to jump down to the bottom. Ooh, starting to pick up. And we're going to do a practice question down here. All right, for this one, graph the circle. Now we're working in the reverse direction. So remember, this is the H, that's the K, that's the R. The only trick is you have to switch the signs for the H and K. So if it looks like an X minus 3 here, then it's really a positive 3. If it's a Y minus 2 in here, then it's really a Y plus 2, then it's really a minus 2. All right, the last part, that is the R squared. So R squared equals 16. Take the square root, so the radius is just 4. All right. To graph it, remember, plot the center point first. So go over to 3 and down to -2. And then you're going to plot 4 more points. Go to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Go left 4. And go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect those points. And there you go. There's your circle. Oh. All right, on the next page is where we're going to see one of those kind of extension questions. So we're going to do one of them together. So let me flip on over here. Woo, a little breezy. I like it. So to be able to do one of the extension questions, you have to use the distance formula, which we learned earlier in the year. So the distance formula, as a little reminder, is the one with the big old radical. So it looks like x2 minus x1, close it up and square it, plus y2 minus y1, close it up and square it, and then you take the square root of that whole darn thing. You can also use Pythagorean theorem for that, but you really need a graph to be able to do the Pythagorean theorem, so that's why we're going to use the distance formula here. All right, the very first one is the one that I'm talking about. So it says you have a circle where the center is 3, -2. So in a little bit, we're going to use that as our H and K. But this time it tells you it passes through the point 5, 1. So they don't give you the radius. So what we actually have to do here is we have to solve for the radius using the distance formula. And what we're going to try to find the distance between is that center point and the point on the edge. So if you want like a little visual, you certainly could just kind of give a general sketch to say like, all right, the center point is at 3, -2. So that'd be down here. Here's my center. It's going to go through the point 5, 1. So that would be up here. So my circle would look, a little something like that. So we're trying to find that distance right there. That's our radius. Oops, I'm a little off the screen there. There we go. All right. So this is the radius that we're trying to find. If you have graph paper, can you create a little right triangle and do it that way? Of course you can. All right. Otherwise, let's plug in. this is going to be x1, y1. This is x2, y2. All right. Into the distance formula, parentheses, difference in your x's. So 5 minus 3 squared, and then difference in your y's. 1 minus negative 2 squared. All right. 5 minus 3 would be 2 squared. That minus a negative, that's going to flip to plus a positive. So we get 3 squared. And now I can't take the square root yet, not until I get a single value. So keep going. This will give us 4 plus 9. So that gives us radical 13. So even though I called it d for distance, that is actually the length of the radius right there. So now I've got the radius and I've got the center point. Now I have what I need to be able to write the equation of that circle. So I can use the equation that we know from the front. Keep the x minus, and now we plug in h, 3 squared plus y minus, and now the k squared, and then equals r squared. All right, this is a good one to clean up. First part stays the same, x minus 3 squared. Second part turns into plus a positive, so y plus 2 squared. Last part, square root and a square, those cancel, and I'm left with 13. All right, there we go. That's it for today's notes. There are a few extra practice questions in here, but you don't have to worry about the rest of those. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.